Hi, everybody. It's Alex Jarett with another Spotlight interview. And I'm here to introduce you to another good friend of mine who I've actually known for many years. It's Michael Parker. Hi, Michael.
Hi, Alex.
Great to see you. Now, you're in Washington, the Washington, D.C. area.
Yeah.
And we love talking to you because you always give us the inside scoop about what's happening in Washington. I'm really thrilled to do this Spotlight interview with you because you've had such a rich background in both the public sector and the nonprofit industries. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes, that is correct. Public sector and nonprofit space. Yes.
Yeah. Your list of leadership roles in the organizations you work for really is like a who's who. Right now, you're head of technology at a group called the ACDI VOCA. But prior to that, you were also head of technology at a group called SEIU. And before that, you were in charge of technology over at National 4-H Council. And prior to that, American Society of Anesthesiologists.
Yeah, that's a mouthful.
Yeah, it is. I got it right the first time. We really appreciate you helping all of these groups because at the end of the day, you're really helping the greater good, right, through your work.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I've been very fortunate in some of the organizations that I've worked for. And you've listed a few of the major ones. Everything to help them with, for example, with the anesthesiologists, the technology projects that help them with patient safety. With the 4-H, it's the collection of data to improve program delivery to youth throughout the United States and Canada.
That's cool.
And same with the other organizations. It's really putting technology in place to help them with their missions to have a really big impact and be efficient.
I know we've been talking really about the great work that you're doing now, and I know that working with teams is really important to you, and I know that working in a mission-oriented environment where you're helping the greater good is really important to you.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's been a learning experience, especially now in each of the positions I've had, to work with not just technology specialists, but also to work with specialists with functional skills in other areas and to bring them together around common projects. It's always a learning experience.
Yeah, well, I believe it. Your role, you're using the technology to help people for, I would call it the greater good. And that's a wonderful mission to have. I know there were sort of two areas that we wanted to talk about real quick. One of the areas is that you have a deep background in technology, data, those kind of areas.
Yes.
You also are really deep in digital transformation and innovation. Shed maybe an example of that.
Oh, absolutely. One of the biggest projects that I ever had any part of was when I was with SEIU, which is Service Employees International Union. And when I started with the organization was still processing membership files, submissions from its local affiliates, of which there were over 170. That was still done largely by paper and by email. And by the time I had left, that was almost 7.5, 8 years later, we had actually done a real digital transformation by taking legacy processes, antiquated processes, even spreadsheet processes, working with available technologies, bringing folks from across the union together to say, hey, we want to be more efficient. We want to help our members with the things that are important to them. And spending a lot of time filling out a membership form, paying your dues is probably not the most efficient way to spend your time. And so we work together. The team is still working there to improve that process. And I'm very proud that I had a role to play in a process that's making the organization more efficient.
That's great. I mean, you said a couple of things there which I want to follow up with. One is you mentioned your team. And I know just from talking to you, you really subscribe to the servant leader.
Absolutely.
To the servant leadership model. Yeah. Shed some light on that and what it means to you and the people that you work with.
I've been a fan of the servant leadership model for a long time, but it was several years ago when I was watching a TED Talk on servant leadership.
Really?
I really got into it.
That's great.
I've tried to learn wherever I can and then in turn practice wherever I can, because to the extent that I can bring people together around a common plan and then build, sustain, and mentor a team, I can leave something behind that's going to keep growing, to keep changing, keep working for the organization. And so I believe in servant leadership and continue to support it as long as I can.
That's a great way of looking at it, because even in this example, and we didn't talk about this ahead of time, but even in this example that you just brought up, where you're working at the union, you just mentioned, and my team is still there. The team is still there doing the work. It worked. You not only got the project done and made that company a lot more efficient and effective, and you also gave better customer experience. You got a hit on all three areas on that project.
Yeah, and it's a model that I still use today, working with ACDI VOCA, because now I'm in an environment which is it's similar in its size and complexity, but now with ACDI VOCA, we have projects in 25 countries. And so we're dealing with staff, not just different cultures, but also the different languages. And so it's important to bring staff and volunteers together around common plans, common goals, understand what their pain points are, listen actively, and active listening is one of the aspects of servant leadership, but listen to what they have to say so that we can make this plan work for everyone. So it's an ongoing challenge, and it's something I like. I'm familiar with other management styles, but servant leadership is really the way to go.
That's great. Well, it's working for you. So keep on doing is what I would say. Yeah, I think it's great. So let's talk about, you're in an environment, you're in Washington, you work for a major organization. We know efficiency is an important initiative, but you've already been working in an efficient way. I know you had a big project or some initiatives that you've done in that area. Why don't you share that with us?
Oh, absolutely. And you're correct. Since I came to this organization, efficiency has been one of my major drivers. And one of the projects that we've undertaken with great success now, almost 3 years later, is managing the mobile devices. So that includes your laptops, your phones, things like this, for almost 1,400 staff in 25 countries. And prior to starting our initiative, it was pretty much managed per country with some guidance from headquarters, home office here in DC. Now we have almost all of our staff, almost all of our mobile devices under one umbrella, managed for security and risk compliance, cost managed centrally from the United States. So we control all of the software, all of the applications, everything, every aspect we can control through the cloud, reaching all of our staff all around the world. And it's an ongoing process. Yes, it's an ongoing process because whether it's security, whether it's compliance, we're making sure that we have that access, we can enforce the policy, we can enforce the rules. As government contractors, we can enforce the rules that the government wants us to enforce for our users. So it didn't just start; it's been an ongoing effort for us.
That's great, and I know now from talking to you, you've also been helping more with the business side as a business leader. And I do see a lot of technology leaders. With technology running so much of the organization, we see a lot of technology leaders move into the business side as well, sort of in that COO operational role. Are you doing some of that operational role now?
Some of it, and it's important, and I'm glad you raised the efficiency and on the operation side. It's really important wherever you sit in the organization to understand what the business goals are, what the organizational goals are. Technology is a way to accomplish those goals. And so when you have those bigger picture goals in mind, it helps you with the big picture. It helps you communicate to the staff. This is why we're doing things that we do. So I thank you for raising that issue.
So Michael, it's been great to talk to you. I appreciate you taking the time for another one of our Spotlight interviews.
Thank you, Alex. I appreciate you having me on, and I have certainly enjoyed our interactions over the last several years.
Likewise, it's been great. And let's keep doing it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.